Look there, sisters, see the heretic. Their false gods falter, how pathetic. When we speak, our prayers turn prophetic. Their heresy burns, our wrath poetic. The traitor's lies will burn to ashes. With every hymn his vengeance flashes. Their mutant blood will stain the ground. In his name we strike them down. Have faith in trials by fire. Have faith in his righteous ire. The hopeful gold, the doubtful burn. His mercy something you must earn. Have faith, for him we gladly die. Through his prayers we rise. His wrath burns in our eyes. Have faith, his holy name we praise. His glory lights our ways. Set heretics ablaze. My bolter shells find a traitor. Faith will cleanse the perpetrator. Each sister's a vindicator. Let all worlds hear our Imperator. Sisters of battle, feel this hymn. His will burns from deep within. This is no mere mortal's game. This is his divine campaign. Sisters, raise your voices high. Galaxy hears our cry. Have faith, let his glory shine. Have faith as we hold the line. Have faith, for him will gladly die. Through his prayers we rise. His praise in our eyes. His holy name we praise. His glory lights our ways. Set heretics ablaze. And the Imperator. And the Imperator.
Alright, greetings Rollets, I read it was already was at Lady Inquisitor Markham of the Aeldar Exodite, and welcome to Looking Cute and Painting Minis. I'm coming at you live from the grim dark future, currently broadcasting from the High Road of Virago. The theme for the stream is Chords, Lament, and Hope by the venerable liturgist Adam Bell. We also have music from 140K Mechanicus, composed by Guillaume David and the copyright of Bulwark Studios, and music from 140K Dark Tyrants, composed by Jesper Kidd and the copyright of Fat Shark Games. All the music's provided to us by ende.app and pixabay.com. And today we have a new one, and it is the Tribal Queen by Quest Wagon. This is the mini. Let me make sure I can see it here on my camera. Alright. So this is her. I'll be painting her head separately from her body. But yeah, this is the Tribal Elf Queen by Quest Wagon. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up Quest Wagon's links so you can find him on there. And where is my stuff here? All right, and I'm gonna pin that. Okay, and yeah, Quest Wagon is the miniature creator, and yeah, that's where you'll be able to find his stuff. And yeah, we already have a few people on the chat. We have Necronomicon with a bunch of emojis. How you doing, Necronomicon? ¿Cómo estás? ¿Todo bien? And we have Lord Inquisitor Calense Salve Interrogator, cómodo dies tus, fuit et cómodo se habet domina inquisitrix, which means, greetings interrogator, how has your day been and how is the Milady Inquisitor? I've been good, and yeah, pretty happy with getting to start a new miniature, especially one which has to do with a little bit of my recent fascination. I've been kind of doing a massive deep dive into the Aeldar lore. It's a lot more interesting than I gave it credit for. So yeah, I've been looking into it more and more and more. So painting I guess what would be an Exodite, I guess she falls under an Exodite elf, should be pretty fun to do. And we have Visa saying, hey, how you doing, Visa? Long time no see. He says, just got my account back from Twitch, got a bot nabbed. Guess a bot nabbed it and spammed. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad you're back. And then Region says, what's the happenings for the living organisms? Oh, today we're starting a new model. That's what's happening. And also drinking my recap. Oh, but... Okay, so... I spoke with Quest Wagon, and he says that I can take liberties with the paint job, so I don't have to necessarily follow his scheme. And like I said, I'll probably be painting it separate pieces. I'll be painting the head separate from the body, so we'll start with the body first. And I kind of want to perfect my Aeldar color scheme. I originally started this color scheme with the idea of trying to see how I could make the striking scorpions work with the colors of the Death Guard. And for the most part, I like a lot of the elements, but I think the elements that I don't like are the garish bronze and the reds. So I'm gonna try to change it up a little bit by changing the bronzes to more silvery metallic, and changing the reds to purples. See if that brings this model to life for me. So greens, purples, and silvers, or metallics that aren't more colorful. Let's see if I can pull this off. And then I have the God Emperor Man saying, greetings, how are you? I'm doing well, my Emperor. How goes everything back on Terra? So yeah, like I said, I've been having this fascination with the Aeldar. And I've been looking into several lore videos, specifically on the Corsairs. So I wanted to know how you get from... what's it called? How do you get from in Asuryani, which is what they call the regular Eldar, to a dark Eldar, aka Drukhari? So I've been looking into that, and it's kind of interesting. There doesn't seem to be much of a way to go from Dark Eldar to regular Eldar, but there seems plenty of ways to go from Eldar to Dark Eldar. Yeah, but apparently there are some times where a Dark Eldar has become a regular Eldar, or what they call it, Asuryani. We have Tequila Shot Ryan saying, super excited to see how it turns out. Yeah, me too. Hey, welcome, Tequila Shot. If I remember correctly, you were Quest Wagon, correct? Oh, welcome back. Yeah, so, like I said, my idea is to paint it like this, but perfect the color scheme. And I'm thinking maybe making her a blonde, but maybe a blonde with darker skin. But let's see if we can pull this off. And then Tequila Shot Ryan says, yep. Well, hey, I hope I do your miniature justice. Again, if you guys want more miniatures by Quest Wagon, the link is in the pinned description. Or in the pinned chat, should I say. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing I did is, let me find the right colors here. Oh, thank you very much for the subscription, Tequila Shot, and the bits. Really appreciate it. Thank you, lad. I think that deserves some kind of fun little music here. I'm gonna go ahead and play everybody's favorite. Okay. Yeah, let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and bring up the color reference because it's actually a little harder to see, I guess, in the black. I'm gonna use Death Guard. Visa with is still standing. Space Marines are wonderful musicians. Let no one tell you otherwise. And the Galloper Man says, a mess of bureaucratic nonsense. I would figure. It doesn't seem that things are very well balanced in the bureaucratic department over on Terra. I mean, I figured that's what happens when you have thousands upon thousands of planets under your wing. Recap's getting cold. Alright, let's go ahead and find the right brush for the job. It seems a little too big. Come on, where are my big, but not this big brushes? Here we go. We got our size ready. And we have the Inquisitor Callahan saying not getting agree with the Yumps. Yeah, I would figure it's not easy over there. Not only you're dealing with all the problems that a hive world deals with, but now you have to deal with all the administration of an entire galaxy-spanning empire. is a little too thick on there. Let's see. But yeah, how's everybody been? What you guys been up to? Hopefully all is well. Been working on a new project as of late. Anybody excited for the new minis coming out? And God Emperor Man says, finished those models yesterday. Oh, nice. Do we get to see my Emperor? He says, stand by. Mine says, I've been slamming into the brick wall that is Deltarune Super Bosses. Ah, wow, I didn't figure that game was as hard as, what's the original one called? Undertale. There you go. Alright, Emperor Man says, posted. Give me a second here while I use up the rest of this paint on my brush. And then we'll start looking at it. Right now, I'm just putting green on here. Again, this is Death Guard green. Just putting it on everywhere I think it would have the green. And then we'll try to separate some of the pieces by painting over them with the other colors we'll be plopping on there. Yeah, anybody here fans of the Aeldar? Yeah, as I've been doing my deep dive into the Aeldar, I'm becoming more and more of a fan of them. And Bison says, I like Elves in general, but not much of 40k's take really grabs me. maybe look into the Corsairs. Like I said, I've been looking into them, and I've been finding them rather interesting. I like the idea of space pirate elves. It's giving me, I don't know if any of you watch that, watch those anime, the pirate ones, like, what's it called? Captain Harlock, I think it's called, and also it's giving me vibes of Silverhawks. Has anybody ever watched that back in the 80s? The idea of a fun space pirate elf adventure really grabbed me for some reason. And Hecaton saying, hi there, Rosario Asaran. How you doing, Hecaton? How you been? Yeah, he asked Captain Harlock. Yeah, I'm just talking about like the Corsairs, the space pirate elves. Because I've been doing kind of a lore dive into them, and I've been finding them very interesting. And I've been getting more and more intrigued by the idea of space pirate elves. Or the elves in general. I've been looking into their lore, and I'm getting really, really into it. But yeah, let's look up the God Emperor of Man's minis that was he just painted. Where is my Discord? Alright, and the God Emperor of Man went ahead and painted some minis the other day, and he's got some pictures. That's an old one. Need to actually download them, I guess. Okay, I downloaded them. Let's see if I can bring this up here. And Captain, Hecaton says, not so bad. Into what? And what do you mean by into what? Like, what I was saying that I was getting into the Eldar lore? Or, so I put it, if they're also asking what I was doing, then I'm pulling up, God Emperor of Man's, uh, pictures of his latest minis. He went ahead and posted it up so we can look at him. It'd be fun to look at his stuff here. Why am I having such a brain fart today? Here we go, finally. Alright, let's shrink this down. It's a little too big. They put it behind me. There we go. And Hekaton says, I'm still working on the Fulgrim. Sigh. Oh yeah. I figure he's to be quite the handful. We have Hellman saying, I am making a Slanesh Night Lord. Nice. I want to see pictures when you finish it. Hellman says, nothing is ever too big in Warhammer. Well, it's too big for the screen for people to get a better look at it. So, it's for your eyes than Warhammer. And this is the minis that he recently painted. And apparently this version of the Ultramarines is from Texas. Very nice. I like the freehand there for the flag. Very nice. I like the stripes, the hazard stripes. Very cool. Very nicely done with all the decals. And then there's his apothecary. Very good job. It came out great. And Visa says, oh, I think I've seen Quest Wagon's models before. They are quite good. Gives me a 40k meets StarCraft / Warcraft vibes. Yeah, I know, right? I really like the designs. They're very nice. Especially this elf one. I think this elf one... No, since I don't see a lot of Exodite stuff, it's really good seeing some Exodites. And, I got it. Man says, well, it's where I'm from. Well, you all heard it here, folks. First, folk. I can't even talk today. You all heard it here first, folks. The Emperor is from Texas. Never let it be said otherwise. That's why he likes things big. And Helma says, I will not be making him yet, but he will be a member of my Slanesh warband. Do you plan to make Slanesh members of your warband from different legions, or is it just gonna be him? What I like about the Chaos lore, the Chaos Space Marines lore, is that they don't necessarily just stick with each other. They will actually form their own war bands together. So you could have Thousand Sons with Emperor's Children and with Night Lords all in one war band. So they're not beholden to chapters or legions like the Loyalists are. And Visa says, and yeah, these ones you're looking at look amazing. Yeah, well done, God Emperor. And then Hellman says, and I will run him as my master of executions. And just him for now, he won a contest to join the band. Ooh. What was the contest about? just realized there's a little bit more of that leg up here that it should be grabbing. But yeah, the green is actually letting us see a little bit more of the detail of the miniature, because the black was not helping. I'm wondering if I should have primed it a different color. Hellman says, Bloodsport Arena, the potential recruits would have to fight, and the winners of each bracket gets to join the warband. And what's the name of the warband? The Adenin Requiem. Ooh, very nice name. Why Adenin Requiem? If you don't mind me asking. I hope you don't mind me asking a lot of questions. I mean, I like to find out more about what you guys are working on. And, we go, Hellman says, they also have their color scheme. 1 second, if you allow me to post the link. Yeah, go ahead. And we have Jace the Face is. How's it? It's saying, how's it going? It's going good. How you doing, Jace the Face? We're currently painting this Tribal Elf Queen by Quest Wagon Miniatures. You only put on the head, you can see the whole thing. And Hellman says Adonin because of Adonis. Oh, okay. Is it just a reference to the Greek character, or are you having a character in your warband actually named Adonis? Like, is he the leader of your warband? And Jace the Face says, cool looking mini, all good here, cheers, stuck at work. Oh yeah, I think so. If you'd like to see more of Quest Wagon stuff, you can find the link in the pinned comment. How's it going at work? I know you just said you're stuck there, but hopefully it's going well despite being stuck at work. Yeah, right now we're just trying to fill in all the what would be the armor of the model in with this Death Guard green. And Jace the Face says, is what it is. Gotta pay those bills. Yeah. I getcha. I'm always reminded of that song. What is it? What is the name of the band? Is it like Elephant something? But ain't no rest for the wicked. Cause you know there ain't no rest for the wicked. but they don't grow on trees. I got bills to pay, I got mouths to feed, there ain't nothing in this world for free. You know I can't hold back, I can't slow down, don't you know? I wish I could. You know there ain't no rest for the wicked until we close our eyes for good. Helmet says, well, the leader is referred to as the Adonai, and Requiem was because of Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and the Requiem in D minor, K626, is a Requiem Mass by Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Mozart composed part of the Requiem in Vienna in 1791, but it was unfinished at the time of his death on the 5th day of December. Yeah, I'm a big fan of classical music, but I like some of Amadeus Mozart's stuff, but I'm a big fan of Johann Sebastian Bach. That's my guy. Like, I love every single piece he's composed. I don't know him by name, but every single one of them really just sticks in my ears. My favorite one of his is Air on G string. And Visa says, Cage Yellowfoot. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Visa. And one thing I like about the Aeldar's armor design is that it has sort of this bug-like quality. Very much in the vein, at least I'm reminded of something in the vein of Guyver, you know, that old anime about the guy wearing the exosuit armor. So I like the idea of capturing that with this color scheme. Especially when I added the, was it Druchii Violet? I think it's Druchii Violet. Yeah, the Druchii Violet shader, which I'll be adding later. It makes it seem very bug-like. I gotta wait till it's gonna be a very painstakingly laborious model because of all the tiny little details. So if you like your models with a lot of detail, definitely check out Quest Wagon. Someone says the idea of the warband was that Noise Marines realized that the Song of Slanesh will never truly ever be finished because it will exist as long as the warp and the universe exists. Not a bad take. I guess that's why you picked that Mozart piece? Since it was never finished? And Tequila Shot Ryan says, ha, yeah, too many details. I think we're nearing completion with all the green parts. Let's make sure that nothing is missing from the colored piece here in case some of her neckline is visible once I put the head on. I wasn't painting it, but maybe I should just in case. And Hellman says yes. Okay, nice. And just face, trying my best not to buy any more models. I got enough on my plate. Yeah, same here. I actually had to cut some of my my mini factory subscriptions. I have so many STLs, and I don't even have a 3D printer. And I'm like, why do I continue to buy these if I'm not gonna print them? They're just so good. I've been really falling in love with Station Forge's Iron Veil miniatures, which are their take on the Leagues of Votan or the Caradron Overlords from Age of Sigmar. I've been really wanting to paint those. Because I've always liked the idea of like sticking the Caradron Overlords in 40k. Because I don't like the Leagues of Votan. I like the Caradron Overlords more. So, with it looking like a good mix of both, I thought, okay, this would be perfect for my idea. Hellman says, the Night Lord, by the way, has a possessed blade that has a greater demon in it that really loves the Night Lord. Oh, nice! I'm guessing it's a Slaaneshi demon then. Maybe a demonette stuck in the blade? Well, it's a greater demon, so it wouldn't be a demonette. But yeah, I get you. But that's pretty cool. The Hellman says, a demon swore that if he would ever die, they would claim and keep his soul safe so they could be together forever. Okay, I want to know more about this story then. You're gonna have to write it. And Vice says, have you seen the Station 4 Legacy versions too? They don't look too far from sci-fi as well. Yes, I have. I really like, that's what I've been getting, and it pained me to stop, because it's like, okay, I need to stop buying so many minis. Especially things are a little tough right now financially. So I can't continuing to spend the money on STL files that I may never print. And Hekaton says, what is wrong with the Leaves of Votan? I don't like their aesthetic. It just seems too watered down Imperium for me. Some people have said it kind of looks like StarCraft, and I'm like, I can kind of see what they mean, but I don't know, there's a plainness to it that I just can't get behind. I'm also not a fan of the fact that they're all clones. They're all supposed to be clones. I think that bit of lore is a little bit kind of stupid and convoluted. I prefer if they were just normal people who were short as opposed to clone people. It brings up too many funny questions for me. And funny not in the haha good funny, and more like, this is weird. And Hellman says, no, the greater demons of Slaanesh are called Keepers of Secrets. Ah, okay, those. I don't think, are they all Keepers of Secrets, or are they other kinds? I know that Keepers of Secrets is like the main one, but I would figure there'd be more greater demons of Slaanesh. And Hekaton says, yeah, the plastic crack addiction is real. So yeah, yes, it is. And Visa says, considering they used to be just plain not exist, being squatted was a phrase in the community, it's kind of amazing we got to have them at all. Yeah, because everybody's been clamoring for them in a while, you know. But yeah, let's take a look at the mini. We already see more detail on there. I haven't touched the front tarp, or I guess loincloth. But we'll be getting on that shortly. Once we've blocked out some more colors. I'm probably gonna make that purple. Maybe a darker purple, just so that any of the jewelry can stand out. All right. Liza says, I think it's the general name for slash graders. Ah, okay, gotcha. And Hecaton says, everyone has been clamoring for the squats for decades. Yeah, I know, exactly. I mean, why not give it to them? But I just don't like their new design. There's better versions I've seen by proxy modelers that I think gives it a more unique or interesting aesthetic as opposed to the one they currently have. And Helma says, a Tarot Keeper of Secrets is just a title given to all greater demons of Slaanesh. There is a lot of them from my knowledge. Again says, I just like how Berserkers look. Yeah, the Berserkers look okay. I mean, but I think I like the Slayers from Sigmar or Warhammer Fantasy a lot more than the Berserkers. I think about the Mohawks and whatnot, and I feel like would have been nice to get back, even in fantasy form. I know I could probably just green stuff a Mohawk on there, but I think there's something lost in the fact that it's not part of the models themselves. And Helma says also the term clones for them doesn't really make sense. They aren't literally all the same person. It's the fact that they are not born. All of them are basically test tube babies with DNA that they can keep remixing to make individuals. Yeah, see, that doesn't make sense to me. It's like, why call it clones then? Or why do that at all? It's like, I don't know. I was just like, just reproduce naturally, normally. I mean, I can understand if you do it like to bolster your units, but the fact that they're all like that, I don't know, it just seems weird to me. It has eugenics vibes to it, which I don't like. Let's gonna make it grim dark, where it's like they're all very much meant to be eugenicist. Hecaton says, I just wish they stopped making Berserkers seem mindless. Hecaton says, I just wish they stopped making... Okay, yeah, I already read that part. And yeah, I don't see why a Berserker needs to be mindless. It just means that they go Berserker once in a while, or that when they see a battle, they go for it. No reason to make them mindless. Alright, I think I'm gonna stop here. No, hold on. There's a little bit there in a little corner that I haven't touched. And then Elman says, because people are uneducated, and the term clone automatically means that this person isn't naturally born. Does it? I thought clone meant reproduction. Like, reproducing a... Try to make a one-for-one copy. And funny enough, this is something I discussed as regards to the Lisa Wotan, something I discussed in my latest rant with my tier list of all the Warhammer 40k armies. And J-Ray saying, what's up? How you doing, J-Ray? How you been? And Evisa says, well, there is clone used in media and then cloning in the scientific sense, which are absolutely not the same. And Hecate is it's why we have clarified what is what, and people are like, what the hell? Okay, I'm stopping there. No more greens. Kelman says, was a one-for-one copy born? Also, you know that is like lore for how we have app humans. Pre-Imperial humanity had the ability to edit DNA when needed. Yeah, again, I mean, I don't necessarily mind that as a concept, but it seems weird that they're trying to make this, racially diverse race, but still make them clones and still make them eugenicists. It just doesn't. Diversity and eugenesis, or like that kind of eugenicist type of, I don't feel like they mix. You can't be racially diverse and also seek the Ubermensch for your, your faction. So you'd be cloning people to be specifically one way. That's why I find it weird. Helmet says, they have very unique DNA. Yes, I do. Yeah, that's why it's like unique DNA, cloning, seeking the right DNA for the right job. All of these don't scream racial diversity. That's why I'm like, these don't quite connect for me, and that's what bugs me about it. That's why I feel like I just wish they got rid of the whole clone thing. It's just, it muddies the waters. It makes it either you make them clones and you make them look equal, or you remove the clone thing and you make them look racially diverse. I think that works fine. It's not weird. It doesn't muddy the waters. It doesn't bring up questions of how does that work. By that it doesn't. You explicitly remove diversity with eugenics. Exactly. And Lord Inquisitor Callahan, one moment I have to go put my daughter to bed because she just had a bad dream. Also, my daughter, likes a song called Sec Lullabies, sung by Natalia Faustova. I'm gonna have to look that one up. But yeah, hope she has a very good night. Alright, let's go ahead and start adding some purples. So I'm gonna go ahead and put Nagaroth Knight onto this cloak. This not cloak. Why do I keep forgetting what this is called? The loincloth. There we go. Loincloth and the cape. We're gonna make those the same color. I might make this this fluffy sort of decoration at the back of the same color as well. So I might make all those purple. Yeah, we're gonna stick with the size 3 grabby because again, we're just dumping color on there. Hellman says, I think this might be a you issue. There are never eugenics mentioned in lore. They just literally have no need for natural birth. Also, that's what connects them with to the Ironkin. The only difference for the two is that one is made out of living matter and the other is non-living. Yeah, but the reason why I think why the thought of eugenics pops into my head, because they say they quite literally tailor the DNA for the job that they need. So it's like if they need a specific person to do a specific job, they tailor the DNA to fit that. That's eugenics. You may not call it eugenics, but that's eugenics. Tailoring DNA to get a specific outcome is eugenics. and that is part of their lore. And Hecate says, I'll be honest, Rosario, the conquest models are making my hand itch some fierce. Talking about the new ones? Those kind of bug-like ones that they came out recently? I think it's supposed to be elves. Yeah, it looked pretty neat, I gotta say. Very cool. And Helman says, yes, they live in deep space, they need dense bone, and they likely make them all squatty to make their armor uniform so that anyone could take whatever armor. I don't think it was just the bone density and the squatness. I think there was more. I think I remember reading somewhere that the lore says, like, when they need someone to fill a certain role, the DNA will be tailored to fit that role. Again, I might be misremembering some lore blurb, but I distinctly remember hearing that. Inquisitor Callahan says, for anyone wondering, it is 1:54 here in Spandau, Germany. Ooh. Yeah, it is currently almost 8 p.m. here in Virago. It says the bird is what I see. A keeper of magic. I'm gonna have to relook at it. But I remember, I think they showed one of their leader. One of their leader models, and it had this sort of bug-like quality to them. Like I said, I might have to look at it again. Maybe I just didn't look at it well enough. But yeah, they look really neat. Hellman at 28. Yes, that could literally mean fireproof skin or a bigger liver. Yeah, I mean, it could mean that they only tailor that. Well, I don't know, it still comes across kind of weird to me. Hellman says eugenics is a dirty term because it has been used poorly to excuse racism and by the Nazis to excuse genocide. I don't mean that we can't have eugenics in the setting. I don't mind grim darkness. There's a lot of grim darkness in YM40K. And so the reason why I think it's weird is that it feels like with the line, they're trying to have their cake but eat it too. If you're gonna do industrialized genetic manipulation of a whole group of people, you're gonna have a lot more people looking similar. So you're gonna get that kind of aesthetic in your army. So trying to say, okay, yeah, we industrialize births to the point where we ensure that the person we create has the right DNA and the right features for the job, means that they're going to look very cookie cutter, very like a robot. Where you industrialize a robot, you're not personalizing the robot. You're quite literally making it look similar every time you make it, so that you get the exact same result every time. So think of it like industrialization of human beings. You're gonna get the same thing you get with robots. Very similar visual aesthetic. So I'm not opposed to them having that as part of their lore, but saying we are industrializing humanity's reproduction and then saying we are racially diverse, that we can look like whatever, I don't feel like they mesh. It's not two concepts that mesh. Because there's a lot of grim darkness in the 41st millennium, and I think we all love it for it. I mean, I don't mind horrifying things in 40K. Hecate says you don't mind me posting the link of the model of the flying bird. No, not at all. Go ahead and post it. And Viza says you will find a lot of eugenics in fiction, often unintentionally. Yeah, you do. So again, I don't mind that there could be a eugenicist army in 40K. It would fit the setting. I just find it odd that they're trying to make a eugenicist army still racially diverse, or at least what comes across to me as eugenicist. Kind of an army that is also racially diverse. It just that the two don't fit in my head. Again, it might be just me. I might be wrong, but the idea of diversity and tailored human engineering doesn't click for me. This is not a diagram that works for me. Okay, and we have I miss here. Helma says they don't customize everything. Think of it as having millions of cookie cutters. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I guess maybe it's just not clicking in my head. And so Rose says, "Hola Rosario, how's it going?" It's going good. How you doing? Currently having some discussions on whether the Leagues of Votann work as far as lower concept. So far, it's like Hellman and I sort of disagree on whether or not their engineering works. Again, it'd be a personal thing for me, like you mentioned, Hellman, so don't take this as me saying you're wrong. Again, for me, it doesn't fit. Whenever I think of tailored engineering, I think of, what's it called? The orcs. The orcs are very much tailored engineering, and that's why they look very homogenous. They all have a very ape-like, and they all have green skin, so they have this big musculature body, because they were meant to be a fast reproducing, sort of quick industrialized race, industrialized genetically. and so it makes sense that they all look the same, you know. That's see what I'm getting at? And oh, let me click the link from Hikatsun. And J-Ray says IIRC introduced a little bit of randomness to the cloning. Yeah, I understand that. That's why it's like we're random, but we're not random, so it's like, okay, pick a lane. You're either random or you're not. And Hecate says, there you go, Rosario. Yeah, I'm gonna click here in a bit. Helmet says they probably trillions of genetic templates. Yeah, they probably do. But it's like when you get the racial city, in like if you look at a lot of Latin American countries, like say for instance Puerto Rico or Cuba, people start looking more alike as far as skin tone, so it becomes less and less likely that you get racial diversity the more you mix it. It's kind of like the more you add different colors, the more you get black, as far as a color theory type of thing. You become more and more homogenous the longer the gene pool stays the same. If you're not introducing new DNA into something, it becomes more and more cookie cutter, I guess, if that makes any sense to you. Okay, yeah, this is a giant bird. Will this pop up, or is it gonna stay? Here we go. So yeah, that's the bird. That's a very pretty bird. So that's from the new elves that they got. Like I said, I saw a new faction they're coming out with. Yeah, here we go. These guys, the Weaver Courts. They definitely have bug-like quality. And Hellman says, Rosa, you know the reason for different ethnic race doesn't mean anything in science. It's just different groups of people across the earth with how their bodies dealt with the sun's radiation. Yeah, I get that. I guess, I don't know. I understand what you're saying. It's just not clicking for me, I guess. And Agatha says, boo ads. And then you're back. And then Helmet says, woo, pretty bird. No Sorcerer King this year's army. Okay. So the Wii records haven't come out yet. I mean, I understand they haven't come out yet. I thought that was what you were talking about. It says each faction is in chronological release. Okay. So that one was this year's, and the Wii records will be next year's. Gotcha. All right. Now we're getting that purple in there. And now we're gonna have purple on this what is it, a halberd? Spear? Common says, Earth in 140K, that people all had the same skin color. Do they? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I see plenty of diversity in Earth. And we have Linux. It says, hi, Rosario, I'm glad I could finally catch a stream of yours. How you doing, Linux? Thank you for the first time chat, and welcome to the stream. I am Rosario US, attaché to Blade Inquisitor Markham of the Order Exodite, and welcome to Blue Cute and Painting Minis. We're currently painting this wonderful miniature by Quest Wagon called the Tribal Elf Queen. But yeah, welcome. How'd you come across my stream? I know you said you've been trying to watch it for a while. How'd you come across me? Like, did you find me on my Instagram, or was it the YouTube channel? And Onyx said, or yeah, Leon X8, so not Lennox, Leon X, says, I'm doing well. I hope you're having a good day. I'm having a really great day. We're just having a debate on whether or not the lore behind the Leagues of Votan works. Hellman is of the opinion that it works, and I'm of the opinion that it doesn't. You know, as far as cloning and that whole shebang. And Lennox, sorry, I keep saying Lennox. Leon X says, you popped up on my YouTube recommended. Oh, nice. Hope you're liking the VODs and the Rosario rants. I just finished the script for my next one. I hope to be able to start recording it soon. And then J-Ray says, where'd you get that info? That seems weird. He was speaking to Hillman. Helmut says, well, there is a real world theory that eventually that there will eventually will only be one race of people because all races would eventually all mix. I I'm of the opinion that that probably will happen at some point. I know that South Park kind of made a kind of joke on that in one of their episodes when people from the future were coming to Earth, or he's coming back to our time, and they were all kind of the sort of tanned skinned people. It's like I look at people born in the US, you know, who are mixed race, and they're looking more and more like the mixed race we see in Latin America. And by this memory serves from biological perspective, there are no actual human races. It's just expressions of phenotypes based on localized adaptations. Yeah, that's what I am understanding. But I feel like maybe it's also like maybe we might get that still in the future, but with everything being kind of controlled as far as weather, what with air conditioning and heat systems and stuff like that. We might still be getting more homogeneity in the future. And Helmut says, that's what I said. I thank everybody for being very civil on what could be a very touchy discussion. Okay, I think we are done with that. Helmut says the reason we see different races of people in Warhammer is because humanity expanded away from Earth, so different groups of people settled on different planets, and over time people adapt. You are on a very warm planet with not as much protection from the near by sun. Your descendants may develop darker skin. Yeah, exactly. Lurk Wizard of Callahan says, well, I am going to be lurking as I have worked to attend to an update on the killer of Charlius Kirkus, the Order of Death, i.e. the death penalty, per Fire Squad. May Imperial Justice be accounted for. The Emperor protects. Glad justice is served. Okay. I think we got all that purple in. Let's take a look. Okay, and with that, I think we're done with the purple. Let's go ahead and clean up the brush here, but we are going to be doing some more purples, but this time we're going to be working with a wash, aka a shade from Citadel Colors, which is called Druki Violet. And we're going to smear that on all the green parts. Hellman says, weird how a large amount of people are using his deaths as propaganda to spread their own ideology. Yeah, not a fan of that. Alright, so yeah, we're going to be using a Druki Violet. And we're going to stick with the same brush, the size 3 grabby. Hellman says it's clear no one politically actually cared about his death. Trump himself, after being asked how his death affected him, besides being good friends, he brushed off the question like someone was asking him about the weather. Even said his day was good. I mean, yeah, because they were probably never really close. Probably never really cared about him in one way or the other. It is still sad to see someone get killed before their time, especially when it's undeserving. Helma says I feel bad for his kids. Yeah, they just lost a father, and that's not something you want to deal with as a family. The loss of a parent. And got up Hermazes and his wife, yeah. That overall was just very bad thing to happen. What I find morbid is people were looking at his, at videos of his, death. And spreading it around. I was like, really? Do we need to spread around somebody's death? Like, visually everywhere, that's kind of messed up. Yeah, Helmet says it's funny how more people feel bad for Charlie's death more than the CEO who was shot. Then again, Charlie wasn't responsible for the deaths of millions of people. Yeah, but I still think murder's never the right way, you know? Even if, let's say, like the CEO was responsible for a lot of deaths, murder is not the right way to actually go about that. I don't know if that's a hot take. Don't murder. And the advisor says, yeah, I have no desire to see those shots. Yeah, me neither. Okay, we have that Druki Violet on there, and now we're gonna go right back and start painting up that green again. But this time, we're gonna try to avoid some of the recesses so we can get that sort of deep purple look. So we're gonna use a slightly smaller brush. We're gonna stop using the size 3 grabby here. So now we're gonna use maybe the size 1 grabby. Homa says he was CEO of a healthcare provider in America. That man is responsible for millions of deaths, as his company was known for denying life-saving aid to people. Yeah, but again, I don't think murder was the right course of action for that. I mean, you take that man to, court, and you put him in jail for that kind of thing. It says, oh, definitely not, but rip bozo. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this, glorifying somebody's death. I don't know, I'm not a big fan of that. Got Man says, I personally don't like sharing my political beliefs, but I see more and more people in America shift to Republican and former registered Democrat voters when Republican after Charlie Kirk's death. Yeah, it's definitely not a good look for those who disagree with Charlie Kirk's beliefs. You have made him a martyr. Alright, so trying to switch the grim topics here. Currently adding the Death Guard green with the size 1 grabby, And we are going over the surfaces. So again, we're avoiding any of the deep recesses to keep that purple. And Homeless says favorite exterminatus type. What is your favorite way to kill a planet? The Gaunter Mass's virus bomb. Which is the one that they show from they show a lot in what was it in Emperor Texas Speech? That one that's just like a massive laser onto the planet. I think I like that one. Hellman says, I think it's called Glass That Bitch. It's also giving me a little bit of a Doomslayer vibe, isn't it? Anybody else getting that same vibe? Doesn't the armor for the Doomslayer kind of have a purpley undertone to it? Or is that just me misremembering? Comment says, no, his armor is green. Yeah, I know it's green, but what I'm saying is with a purple, like, undertone to it. Like, shadowy is a little bit purplish. Again, I might be misremembering, but I don't know. But right now, getting Doomslayer vibes with this Pates game. And then the God Emperor Man says, and orbital bombardment with lance batteries. I think that's the one that we see a lot, isn't it? God, Romancer snapped that planet in half like a Slim Jim. Now I can't get the image of Macho Man Randy Savage saying that while blowing up a planet. Like, oh yeah, brother. The cream of the crop.
Ave Maria, gratia plena, Dominus tecum, benedicta tu in mulieribus, et benedictus fructus ventris tui, Iesus. Sancta Maria, Mater Dei, ora pro nobis peccatoribus, nunc et in hora mortis nostrae. Amen.
Alright, let's get this leg now. And J-Ray says, after seeing that TikToker with the pink Tyranid army, my brother decided to do the same thing with his. What kind of pink? Is it like fluorescent pink? And we have Sintar Andir Eldark, Celestial Object Redirection, Vivat Caliban, or another method called Heraclitus, biowarfare used against NIDs or maybe phosphex, dropped by Mortalis class atmospheric missiles. Okay, so you are definitely a mechanicus. Sintaran, dear Eldark, first time chat. Thank you very much for coming to my stream. I am Rosario Rivas, attaché to Milady Inquisitor Markham of the Order Hereticus, and welcome to Looking Cute Make the Minis. I'm currently painting this Tribal Elf Queen by Quest Wagon. The link for Quest Wagon's miniatures are in the description. But yeah, how'd you come across my stream today? And you really know your stuff as far as what's it called? Exterminatus weaponry. J Wraith says no special pink paints, unfortunately. I think Vallejo hot gold pink or something. Ah, okay. Well, you'd have to show me once your brother's done. Sintaran there says, nope, I'm ancient Aeldari, began as pure heart Drukari, but now every faction of elves, even forbidden Slanesh, possess cults, overwatched by Harlequin solitaires. Oh, okay, nice. So you went from alt Drukari to, I guess, Asuryani? I've been actually getting really into Dark Elf and, by extension, Eldar lore. I recently watched a lot of videos that kind of went over the different factions of the Eldar. Very interesting stuff. Really fan of the Corsairs. I might make my own Corsair kill team at some point. Just put that on the long list of kill teams I would like to make. And Jared says hot, cold, pink. Low, I forgot to delete hot. Hey, no worries. As in Centaurn there says, not only Drukari, Harlequins, Craftworld Corsairs are space pirates, they too, also Exodites, and of course, Inari. Any kind of Eldari. So, is that what do you paint or play at all? Is that what you paint and play, or do you just like the lore, or the books? But yeah, this one is actually I guess what would be an Exodite proxy. So yeah, there we go. There's her head. And then Sintar says, I played, painted, and collected, and Lord mastered them. Call me Xeno scum because all Xenos are my lore focused and more. Hey, I don't like the idea of like hating on anybody's favorite classes. I think it's all fun. This is definitely a neutral zone where anybody who likes any kind of army from Warhammer can come and get together. This is neutral zone here. We have now with you Aeldari players, but we have Chaos players. We have some Orc players as well. So yeah, you're more than welcome. Like I said, I've been recently doing a deep dive into the Eldar lore, and it's very fascinating stuff. Okay, I think we are done with that undercoat. Oh, losing focus there. Yeah, I think she's coming on along very nicely. So you working on anything as far as miniatures that you're painting, or reading any new lore books or codexes, or just actual stories in general? Anything you're working on as far as Warhammer 40k or any kind of hobby projects you're currently working on? All right, so let's go ahead and add some nun oil to the purple. Sintaran there says anything else is just monkey cattle. As simple as that. Nothing personal, anything to present my own obsession with space elves. When I entered the hobby, there were three main candidates to go with. Vilkla, Fenrika, Papa Nurgle's children, and Dark Elves. When I discovered who is Asdurbile Vet, I was convinced. Asdurbile Vet, I'm not quite clear on that character. Is that a Dark Eldar, a Drukhari character? I feel like it's a Drukhari, but I could be wrong. And he says, I've worked 8 years for Pro Studio, have 14 years of fine art school, natural selection. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've done, I haven't worked for a Pro Studio, but I have a degree in media arts and animation. And so I know a little bit of artistic endeavors. So yeah, we're currently adding nun oil to all the purple, so we can get some recesses in there. Some varying tones. They actually feel, after doing my little deep dive into Eldar lore, I feel like we need more Eldar books. I would like to see some stuff from the Corsair's perspective. They seem pretty neat, so I definitely want to know more. And Centaur says, as Durvile effect is, it seems, oldest mortal being in living Warhammer 40k setting. He remembers the time before birth of She Who Thirsts. We'd call it Cyolanthus. So which faction does he fall under? Okay, we are done with that. Let's clean up the brush. Now let's see if there's anything I can do quickly before we're out of time, because we're almost out of time. I guess I can paint the stone steps. I usually don't focus on the base parts here, but might as well. We have a little bit of time, and that should be pretty simple. Where is my... I think we'll start with a Rhinox hide for the base itself. We kind of want to keep it in a sort of neutral tones territory. I don't want to necessarily go with regular stone. Maybe make it look more like sort of the Egyptian stonework for the pyramids. Maybe that might be fun. So I'm gonna start with a Rhinox hide. Sintarandir says, Space Elf lore is quite complicated. No exact dates, and history goes all the way back 65 million years, back to the first war in heavens, and Necron versus Old Ones. I even have some pieces of Slan race, which goes all the way back to Road Trader in the year 1987. Okay, there's something up with my Rhinox hide here. Do I have another Rhinox hide? Yes, I do. That Rhinox hide is probably wasted. Let's go ahead and move that to the side. We're not using that. So, what got you into Warhammer originally? Was it the elves, or did you come to like them eventually? Because even though I'm a Mechanicus player, the first thing I fell in love with as far as Warhammer was the Space Wolves, actually. And then Sin Tarandir says, I liked elves even before it entered 140k. Oh, nice. So what was it that drew you to elves? Was it like Lord of the Rings, or was it something else? Sintarnir says, Elven supremacy, therefore I do not like the Witcher setting. That is raw way to handle elves. So you don't like the elves as sort of a downtrodden or subjugated race. So I'm guessing you're not a fan of Dragon Age either. There we go. Sitandir says true. So then, what? Like I said, what was it that got you to like elves? Was it Lord of the Rings, or was it Dungeons and Dragons, or some other media that I'm not aware of, or at least that I may not be thinking about right now? Okay, and I think with that, we're gonna call it a night. Alright, and this is what we have so far. And let me put on the head, just so it doesn't look like a weird headless horseman. And there we have it. I think she's coming along nicely. And God Emperor Masses Vale Interrogatori Heb Do Homadem Bonam Habete, which means goodbye for interrogator. Have a good week. Hey, goodbye to you, my Emperor. You take care, okay? And yeah, let me go ahead and start signing out here in a bit. But before I do, thank you all very much for coming. It's always a pleasure. And if you like what I do and would like to support, please consider subscribing to Twitch channel or donating to my Ko-Fi at Rosario Rivas Art. Or if you missed an episode, feel free to check out my YouTube channel, which is also called Rosario Rivas Art. And again, don't forget that I have my Rosario rants on my YouTube channel, and I'm currently working on the script for the next one. And my last one was on my tier list of the armies in Warhammer 40k. So if you'd like to know how I tier all those, then check out that video. But I also cover other topics. Sorry. And Sintalandir says Lord of the Ring was somehow first around 1990 or so. Then I moved into many punks, like steampunk, but top was cyberpunk. Oh, I love cyberpunk. And I went so full into Warhammer 40k around 2015. When all things considered, I chose Dark Elves and as a most interesting faction. And then saying Tarandir says speaks in High Gothic. Yeah, if you like cyberpunk and you like elves, definitely check out Shadowrun. Shadowrun is pretty much cyberpunk meets fantasy with elves, dwarves, orcs, and etc. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Let's go ahead and seek and raid before we go. Okay, let's go ahead and raid Ron Illust, or Ron Illust. He is a artist, streamer, and VTuber. He does a lot of good stuff. And then Leon X says, thank you for the stream. Hey, thank you very much for coming. It's a pleasure to meet you. And I look forward to seeing you all next week. So, yeah, I've been Rosario US, and I'll be signing out from the Grim Dark Future. Hey, varlets.